One more minute and then we'll start. Thank you all for joining in. Good evening all. Thank you so much. And let us begin. I want to appreciate your time. I want to appreciate your interest in joining in this session. Thank you so much. The purpose of this session today is to provide mobility perspective from SAP. Specifically, I wanted to focus on mobility. In the last, I will give an opportunity to ask me any questions as you might have. I would like to start by introducing myself. So I've been doing SAP since last over 16 years. I'm a SAP consultant myself. These are some of the clients where I did SAP implementation, most of them in US, in Europe. Some of them are in India as well. In the beginning, I did some implementation in India. In 16 years of SAP implementation, I primarily worked with 3 companies. I was senior director with the Capgemini and Accenture, and I was associate partner with IBM. I'm a visiting professor. I don't work anybody anymore. I quit. I have taken academics in which I talk to a lot of people, a lot of companies, and I teach to various schools and colleges. I'm a professor at Indiana University, Pennsylvania. It is where I teach MBA folks. In fact, I will be doing one in later September. There are many other schools where I go. I've taught many thousand students in the SAP space. These are some of my modules where I started my career. Some of the industries I was involved, I did SAP implementation. Some of the companies I was associated in some form when I was in India in 90s. This is our agenda for today. Talking about enterprise mobility. I will also like to give you a little bit of a perspective on SUP, which is called sideways unwired build form. I would like to give you a little bit of a overview on Afaria. What does it do? I would like to give you some perspective about SAP's offering. SAP has certain applications and apps. I want to give some of the offering which Kabir provides, and in the last I will give a chance to give in questions and answers. So that is our agenda for today. And again, I would like to thank you and appreciate your participation, appreciate you coming here in the mobility class. Let me start with the mobility, and then I will talk about enterprise mobility. As we all have witnessed, I have witnessed myself that in the past 1 decade and so, there is exponential growth in SAP mobility. It's exponential growth. And it is going on past many decades. One G, 2G, 3G, 4G was one of the most critical and most important growth expansion which came was when iPhone came. Okay. And since then, it has been a very, very important journey as for the expansion. Now when I go to India, I look into everyone. One thing is for sure, everyone has a mobile phone, irrespective of what they're doing. That's the power though. I want to talk to you not the mobility, but enterprise mobility. How the enterprise mobility works. What is the function of enterprise mobility? What does the enterprise mobility do? what is the business value of mobility for the enterprises? In terms of lot of devices, and that is what I want to focus, the business value of mobility to enterprises. And talking about what is enterprise mobility, why we have to talk now, what is the opportunity, and what is the solution. You will be surprised. This is in 2003, last year, this survey was done by the Morgan Stanley. Mobile is already bigger than desktops. Already. More people use collectively in terms of numbers mobile devices than the desktop. So if you look at it here on these graphs, this is basically our smartphones and tablets, and these are your desktop and notebooks. And if you look at it, your smartphone and tablets has already surpassed and that's very critical part. That's why we need to talk about this now, that the influence, the impact of mobile devices, smartphone and tablets in terms of gross number. If you look at it in India, for example, as you know that you go anywhere, you will see not necessarily everyone having a laptop and desktop, but everybody having a phone, and a lot of them are having a smartphone and tablets too. So smartphone and tablets, they have already surpassed your desktop and notebooks. Another thing which is expanding, I would like to pay your attention. Mobile is a new way to access information. It's a new way to access information. So mobile is a new way to access information. We are spending more time with the mobile app. So if we look at it, and this is more US-based study though, done by Comstor and Alexa Fillery Analytics. That in 2010 and 10, 11 and all that, we are consuming the web using mobile, using laptop and desktop, and this is basically consuming the information using mobile apps. So that basically means our day-to-day life. We have, and this is the old number in 2011. This is not 12, 13, 14. So this number has exponentially changed. So that basically means that more and more people are accessing information, news, Facebook and Twitter and all those things using mobile apps rather than going on web. So mobility for most of us is a new way of accessing information. And then a smartphone, when it came several years back, that was revolutionary. A smartphone was revolutionary. That is smartphone, that iPhone which came, and BlackBerry was there, that has been, see here, this is a graph to demonstrate the smartphone, the growth. And this is a graph for our regular feature phone. We have already surpassed globally the more number of people using a smartphone versus the regular phone globally, specifically in US. In US, where I am based, you'll find 90% of people using a smartphone and only 10% of feature phones. So the penetration of the smartphone is very, very important. 63% folks in US have a smartphone. And again, this is a 2011 Q3 number, source coming from the Nielsen company. So that basically means all of us is getting more hooked to the mobile devices, to the mobile phones. I wanted to come back and put our attention to enterprise mobility. What is enterprise mobility? In the enterprise mobility, there are three important points. And those are 3 Ds: device, decision, and data. So those 3 Ds are critically important to enable the evolution, revolution, adoption of mobility. Now, when we say devices, one of the challenges with mobility is that we have I was mentioning there are a lot of smartphones, and that's a good thing, and that's also a challenging thing that we have a lot of smartphones. The another point is decision points. There are a lot of decision points. When I say decision point, that basically means we are having a lot of people involved in the decision. A lot of people, a lot of companies becoming multi-geographies, multi-business units. And that is the decision point. A lot of companies are working in different countries, different locations, different cities. And another challenge we always know, data expand. And there is one of the global rule that data become double every 18 months. So every 18 months, the data doubles. There are 500 million Facebook users, and they have expanded that number. So there are 3 important: devices, decisions, and data. This has been the journey for enterprise mobility. So here I have a mobility 1.0, mobility 2.0, mobility 3.0, and mobility 4.0. Now we are talking about, we are here, mobility 4.0. So last 1 decade and so, the mobility, initially we always only have the basic mobility in which you could just talk. Then along with the talk we also go texting, SMS, and all those things. Then 3.0, we have a voice, texting, and all that, and then we also allow e-commerce, and a lot of e-commerce sites and all that opened up in several years back. on the using mobile phone, you can just go to Citibank or all those different business transactions you could do. A lot of people get, if you have a phone, somebody doing a campaign, somebody send you SMS, somebody send you information, you're multimedia, you can check your, you can say tutor. Now what I'm going to talk here is another layer, enterprise applications. All these things are fine. You're already doing it. You open your iPhone or your Samsung or whatever phone we have, many of those we have, you can do all those different transactions already. But I'm going to talk to you about enterprise mobility. How can you access your enterprise information using mobile devices? That is not done by many people. There are very few people, companies, who are able to access their enterprise information using mobile devices. What does this mean to the enterprise? When you talk about enterprise mobility, what does it mean? So, three things. More access to the consumers. So there are three elements here. How I can interact with my employees, how I can interact my business partners, how I can interact with my consumers. So when I speak about enterprise mobility, we are basically talking about providing access to your enterprise data and the exchange of enterprise data to these three sources. And those are employee. So I have a sales manager, I have a purchase manager. They can do their SAP transaction on their mobile device. I have a salesperson sitting in the customer location. He wants to check what the stock is, what is the status on sales order. He can check that on mobile. Partners. I have my customer. He wants to know the status of his sales order. He can access that information. And then we have a consumers. So how can you access to various consumers? So employees, partners, consumers. There are a lot of mobility moments. Why do we care about enterprise mobility? Several things. Of course, easy to use. Of course, I don't need to log in to my laptop and desktop. I'm sitting anywhere. I'm sitting in a train, I'm in a car, or I'm in wherever. And a lot of these mobile devices which are available, coming with a lot of capabilities, the touch and swipe and GPS and voice and all, and they have all these capabilities. And a lot of these mobile devices also come with a lot of other, like they have a calendar, camera, they have a temperature, weather information, barcodes, RFID, GPS. A lot of these Samsung and iPhone phones come preload with all these different capabilities. And then I already have this one, I have this one, so 1 plus 1 equals to 3. So 1 plus 1 is not 2, 1 plus 1 is 3. And those are three angles connecting. It's me, my employee, my customer. It's me, my employee, my customer. In that, how can I have better selling, better information, alerts, workflow, and making my enterprise perform better? So I'm using my enterprise data, I'm using my phone, enabling their capabilities, and providing an added advantage to our business users, our employees. Some of the mobility moments, as we call, camera image is uploaded to the remote server for the recognition of the payment information. We're talking about benefits of some of these mobile devices, as we know. Data is being extracted from the information. Data is being analyzed, and invoice can be added to the payment list. Customer confirm the payment. Mobility moment. Mapping your travel and expenses. I have iPhone, I launch an application, I select my image, take the photo, record any voice, return a screen to upload that to the remote host. After some uploading is done, I complete and approve. So my expense has been approved and uploaded into my enterprise data. So I'm traveling, I have expense sheet, which is necessarily I need to provide for reimbursement, for auditing, using my mobile device, using the capability of mobile devices. I can automatically upload that information and store in the database. There are more mobile phones than toothbrushes. This is old number, by the way. We have 5 billion mobile phones and only 2.2 billion toothbrushes. That picture itself tells us expansion of mobility. Let us come to enterprise mobility. But mobilizing enterprise is challenging. All these things I've talked to you about, this and that, they are good, that's all nice features. They make sense. A lot of organizations are thinking, considering them very considerably. But mobilizing the enterprise is very, very complex. There are several reasons for that. First and foremost, end user requirements. It should be easy. And then enterprise requirement. So end user requirement and enterprise requirement. In the enterprise requirement, one of the very important factor is security. Because, and one of the reasons, as you all know, that when you're talking about enterprise organization, we have to make sure that these enterprise organizations' data is secure. Security is paramount. How can I manage my devices? How can I manage my apps? How I can develop? And one of the challenges is device and backend diversity. That is actually fair amount of challenge for a lot of people. because I mentioned to you the expansion of mobility, but there are a lot of devices. There is not one or two. And a lot of these devices has a completely different platform. So iPhone and Samsung, which work on Android, and iPhone work on iOS, and BlackBerry have their own platform. And then we have Windows platform and Windows-based phones. So there are at least 4 different distinct platforms. And then there are gazillions of different devices which is working on these platforms. So it's challenging, always. Rapidly increasing complexity. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main aspects in terms of challenge, and I'm very sure a lot of you have already seen, experienced, aware of these challenges. I'm not possibly telling anything new here as far as the challenge part is concerned. So on the top there is a development. Development basically means how do I manage my diverse backend devices and diversity. And diversity is not only in terms of devices, but is also in terms of various databases. And then we also have various development tools. So how we can develop the various applications, how I can make it secure. So security is immensely important. Of course, the cost. A lot of people don't have too much of a budget. And how administrator basically means how I can manage the access and how I can manage the device application management, which basically means providing the right access to a person. So if you have a sales manager and the purchase manager, they're 2 different roles. That is our complexity. We have how we can make it easy to use, how do we make it to device of choice, how we can manage to the different applications. So as we talked about, there's an immense value in enterprise mobility. There's immense business value, but it is complex. That is why SAP has come up with something called Sideways Unwired Platform, SUP as it is called. And this is the Sideways Unwired Platform. In one hand, it is allowing us to connect with the heterogeneous data sources, different applications, SAP or whatever. Sybase can connect to SAP, and Sybase can also connect to a lot of non-SAP applications too. And then in the front end, it is allowing us to connect with a lot of diverse heterogeneous mobile devices to BlackBerry and Android and iPhone and Windows and all that. This is an architecture of SUP. SUP stands for Sideways Unwired Platform. Now if you look at here, in SUP, on the top there is a create, connect, consume, and control. 4 C's. So when you say connect, the first C, how I can connect with my diverse system. I have SAP, I have Oracle, I have Microsoft, I have various other databases. Create, being able to create our own application. So SAP, SUP or Sideways Unwired Platform provides us development environment in which we can develop our own app if it is needed. And then another important is control, management control, user control. Then after I have developed these applications, how I can control the access of the information to various business users. And in the front, we have a conception, how I can connect to different diverse business applications. So create, control, connect, and consume. So what is the benefit of SAP is? So SAP or Sybase Unwired platform is provided by SAP, and the overall idea is faster time to market. You don't need to develop everything from scratch. You have a SAP and you can get into your business user faster, integrate various back-end applications and front-end devices, and of course SAP's one of the most advanced mobility platforms. Then we have Afaria. Afaria is part of Sybase Unwired platform, but the purpose of Afaria is basically for the administration, providing the access to the information to the various devices. Who can access what? So that is done by the Afaria. So I have all these applications, Windows and iPhone and iPad, Android, BlackBerry and all that. How they can have access from the backend system. That is provided by Afaria. Afaria is our administration access control. What does Afaria do? So in Afaria, there is a provision, decommission, and production. Three aspects of Afaria's capability: provision, production, decommission. Provision basically means I have a new employee comes in, I want to give him an employee. I have a sales manager comes in, I have a finance manager comes in. So how he can get an access? How can you establish a security possibility, passwords, encryptions? Production, I have two things, manage and secure. Manage basically means tracking the information. So we have a security policy, whether somebody is managing those security policies or not. And then you create a security firewall. And then third part is decommission, which basically means if somebody's mobile device is lost, how I can take it back, how I can remove that device not accessing the information. If somebody violates the excessive information, what we can do with it. That is part of decommission. Afaria benefit, in which I have a remote distribution, automation of the process, security and management, monitoring. This is the architecture of SAP and Afaria. So on the top is SAP Sybase Mobile SDK, in which I can create applications. This is my whole SAP platform. In the bottom we have Afaria. Afaria working as a control of a device, control of access, control of information, control of access. Your relay server connecting to your front-end devices. In the back-end, we have a different applications. You have SAP and various other databases, web services, and many other data sources. So that is the overall architecture of SAP and Afaria. So in the back-end, we have a different business data. In the front-end, we have a consumption. In the bottom, we have Afaria, which is controlling the device management and configuration. And in middle, we have Sybase SAP, which provides you ability to manage your application, develop your applications, and that is your architecture of SAP and FRA. SAP strategy on delivering mobile applications. So, dozens of applications SAP has provided already. Focus on various people, process, analytics. In the future, SAP intend to provide thousands of applications. Now, those applications will come from both two sources. They will be provided by SAP themselves, and a lot of them would be provided by the partners. So both. Let us talk about SAP application roadmap. Every SAP consultant should be aware of the mobile solutions in his area. So if you are an SD consultant or FI or HR or MM or logistics, you must know. SAP is shipping apps on quarterly basis from 2012 onwards, almost last 2 years, and so SAP has been shipping the product. There has been a lot of focus initially on CRM, on HR and analytics. Those have been area of focus for SAP in the beginning. We have a lot of other applications like appointment promotion, accounting, verification. You have a lot of other application which is coming up in the area of manufacturing, time, customers, financials, suppliers. And in the future, they are also going to do focus on consumers. These are some of the applications which is already there. This is not the complete list, by the way. This is old list. So application which is there in finance, in sales, in HR, in procurement, in service, in manufacturing, in supply chain, in IT. Several of these applications is industry specific and analytics specific. They are old. I don't know if you guys can read this also or not. There is a menu path, http store.sap.com.mobile. You guys can make a note of this. You can go there and you will find the latest and the greatest and most updated list of mobile applications there, which is store.sap.com/mobile. This is old list. This list has enormously expanded now. Some of the examples which I want to share with a lot of companies, how they're using these mobile applications, how the Caterpillar use it, Halliburton, Rubbermaid, Dell Labs, Procter & Gamble, Dr. Reddy managing their customers and field staff, Syntax, Home Depot is one of the largest retailers in US. They can place order, scan, inventory, request service on the mobile devices. City, and see here, this is my enterprise, this is my supplier. So this is extended organization structure. This is my corporation. In one hand, I have my one hand supplier. Another hand, I have my distributors, my retailers, my consumers. Or I have a web channel, e-commerce, consumer direct linking. This is my whole supply chain ecosystem. And how various mobility devices can be accessed in corporation, in your retailers, and consumers, and suppliers. And I would like you guys to make a note of the one word, mobility accelerates business. That is important statement. Mobility for any corporation provides extra bit of acceleration in their business performance. That is what mobility do. It accelerates the business. Some of the enterprise mobility example, day in life of a salesperson, viewing today's activity, what I'm going to do, he look in his cell phone. He call from the customer to reschedule a meeting. He read emails and notifications. He, in his cell phone, he look into opportunity which he has. He's preparing for the revenue status meeting. He make a personal call to his wife. Using mobile phone, he look at the map. He visit the customers. This is day in life of a salesperson. Almost entire function of his life is done using a smartphone. Some of the smartphone applications, at least I would like to show you screenshots of them. I'm not sure how much visible it is to you. Some of the apps in BlackBerry is dying platform though. In iPad, in your HTC device, in your iPhone. This is mobile sales for SAP CRM. Mobile workflow for business suite. What does that basically mean? So in the mobile workflow, in my BlackBerry or in my Samsung device or in my HTC device, mark workbench leave request. I'm a manager, I get a leave request. You can approve travel request. I have many workflows in which you have a travel request, time recording, leave request. This is important message I would like to give it to you. That is true not only in enterprise mobility, probably in other areas also. Which is think big, start small. And that is absolutely true with enterprise mobility. Don't provide hundreds of applications in all business functions. Think about one area. Think about one area where you have a biggest pain. Think about one area where you have a biggest opportunity. Most of them lie in the sales for most people, with my experience. Don't do, hundreds and hundreds. That doesn't help. That will create a chaos. Start with one, start with the two, start small. But have an overarching 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year vision where you want to take your enterprise. We at Kabeer addresses all aspects of mobility, from strategy to the solution. Because a lot of people wanted to have a strategy. What should I be doing? When it comes to mobile devices, what should be my approach? What is the right mobile solution? And why and how I can go into that platform. So is strategy, solutions, and technology. Some of applications which I would like to talk to you about, which we have developed. One of them, this was one of the apps which we developed, is called loyalty management. It's pertaining to, application to complement solution in which your customer can enroll into a loyalty program and become a member. This is more focused on the customers using SAP CRM in the backend. Another app which we did was pertaining to shipments, which are based upon ECC. We developed based on AP also, in which ECC communicate with the mobile devices about open POs and past ASNs. Suppliers can review those open purchase orders and flip into ASNs. It was very, very useful to most corporations. We also developed one based upon a carrier application for proof of delivery, in which we send an outbound replacement shipment to customer locations, and how that carrier can get a signature and we can record that back into SAP. This was another very, very useful and highly adaptive mobile application from the carrier perspective. Another one which we had was price checker. In the price checker, we have how we can, check the price of ours and our competitors. That was very useful mobile app. So that is what I was planning to talk to you. And if you have any questions, you are very welcome to ask me. I cannot hear you. There is a chat box. You can use chat box, and you can ask me any questions. This is my email address, dilip@kabeerconsulting.com. You're very welcome to make a note of that email address. This is my phone number, so you're very welcome to call me. But this is a USA number though, just FYI. If you want to talk to me in person, you're very welcome. If you want to write an email, this is my email address, and you're very welcome to write an email to me. So anybody having any questions? Okay. So I would like to thank you all. I would like to thank you for your time. I would like to thank you for your interest, and I appreciate you coming here, showing interest in listening to this. I look forward to talking with you in the near future. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye. Thanks, everyone. Thank you all. Have a nice evening, and talk to you soon.